Hey everybody, it's time for my client Michelle's vlog, and as of course we've been doing for forever, we do a 4-day upper-lower split, but we start the upper days with a training max on the bench press for a moderately heavy single. Same thing for squats and deadlifts on the 2 lower days respectively. And then we do lots and lots of rep work as supersets. So here we are with her doing pull-ups, and she supersets these with bench, and I kind of trimmed that bench out because we already got the top set, so we don't necessarily need to see her doing 10 rep sets. But she does a 10 plus rep set of bench followed by pull-ups to about 1 rep in reserve, and then we repeat that cycle, and we end up doing 3 sets of that. It's her first superset. Okay, so again, I want to be clear, her upper body days after the training max are all supersets. Lower body days are trisets. And the idea here right now, we're working on building muscle at this point. This is to maximize body composition, maximize conditioning, because again, we can peak for a powerlifting meet anytime we want. She's qualified for a couple different worlds and a couple different nationals already for this year, so she can kind of pick and choose what she wants to do, and when we're ready to do a meet, peak her for a meet real quick. Not a big deal. Of course, she's lost a little more body weight as she's been getting leaner. And again, the idea here, we're trying to maximize body composition, but some areas I want to really add a lot of muscle to for the bikini purposes is her delts and her calves. So those are getting more attention than we normally are getting when we have been doing powerlifting for her. So when it's exclusively powerlifting, we're a little more just concerned with lats and triceps to go with the benching. We just do some accessories. We don't care about calves as far as the squats and the deadlifts go. So we don't really focus on those. We haven't done any calf work before she decided, hey, I want to start doing bikini. Of course, she's also doing very regular modeling shoots right now. So again, that's been going very well. She's done half a dozen shoots here recently. So again, she's pursuing all of those things. So the physique and all of that matters more and more to her right now, both professionally and in terms of what she wants to do competitively. But we do have to be clear, she is absolutely going to continue powerlifting. Although, we're getting at a point to where she's now well below her current new lighter weight class that we already qualified for. So we have a lot of wiggle room there. And it's something we're going to have to look at later down the road is going to be body weight. We may get to a point where we have to think about, do we even need to stay in this class? If she gets really bikini lean and then wants to do a meet, she's almost going to be, ready to do the next weight class down. Because she's now walking around, in the low 140s at 5'9". So she's a very tall. And at a lighter body weight. And we used to compete in the 165. So over a year ago, those other meets, we were doing the 165. Okay, she stepped on the scale around 145 for this last meet or two, both the untested and the tested one. When we did that, so she's qualified in a few different events. So our other work here for this block, and we're rotating these movements around just to help with boredom, and also because we're doing so much volume for her that we do need to think in terms of overuse. So, every 2-3 weeks, we are rotating a lot of the lifts around. Again, mainly because we can focus on a few main lifts and chase progression on those, and everything else is just about taking sets close to failure, getting fatigue, and again, just finishing off all of these muscles. Whereas the stuff like the bench, the pull-ups, certain exercises that we do, we can keep those in fairly consistently so that we do chase progressive overload. But again, everything done afterwards, it tends to be a lot of pump work. So the other superset we just saw there, we do flat bench press with dumbbells, and then we superset that with 1-arm dumbbell rows back and forth, which is a nice little setup because it's almost a continual rotation. Mainly because if you do the bench first, and then you do the 1-arm dumbbell rows with each arm, about the time that you're finished doing that dumbbell row, your pecs and things are almost recovered and ready for the next set. So a lot of those single arm exercises or single leg exercises like that really let us get a lot done in terms of work density. So then the next superset that we did after that, we do upright rows, and then she supersets that with skull crushers. So we're doing lying extensions with an easy bar. And then our next superset, as you guys are seeing here, we do dumbbell lateral raises, and then she does a supine grip, underhand grip, regular standing dumbbell curl as a superset. Notice though that the workout is very delt heavy. We really only have one bicep and one tricep exercise in, because with all her pressing and pulling, that's enough. But I do have 2 different shoulder exercises added in, even though we're doing 12 sets of pulling and 12 sets of pressing every week outside of that. So the delts are getting a lot of work already. Again, I'm wanting to really prioritize those delts. All right, start of her lower body session, we had just had a good training max on the back squat. We just use her meet legal squat, like what she does in competition, in terms of stance. So we just get a nice heavy single that I have programmed, the weight programmed, and I don't want it to be hard. And then we go into the trisets. So what are we doing for the trisets on lower body? So first we do a shoulder width grip. So I call this almost a closer stance leg press. And again, the idea here, I want to get a lot of quad activation. Whereas if I wanted to get a little more adductor, a little more glute, I would take that stance out wider, and that would carry over a little better to a power squat. But right now, I want to really build her quads. Those quads, I would like them to come up more. And we have a lot of glute work because that's still deep. We have glute ham raises, pull throughs, all this other stuff. So we do have a lot of glute work, and I'm not as concerned with that. I want to really double down on the quads. So after we do that heavy squat, we come in and we do the leg press. And I might work some volume back in on doing sets of 10 plus on the back squat for her. But we do a lot of doubles and triples for high sets going into meets. So when she starts getting ready for meets, like we might do 10 doubles anyways, walking in. So we tend to get more specificity as we get closer to competition. Right now, I'm not as worried about that. I just need to get her body composition where we want it. We need to gain muscle. So again, deep leg presses with that slightly closer stance. Then her next exercise is, of course, the glute ham raise. And then, of course, since she's already got the leg press loaded right over by the GHR with her leg press weight, she just uses that same weight and just does a burnout set of toe presses pretty much. So we're doing the equivalent of a standing calf raise, but we're doing it on the leg press slide. And since it's a close enough weight for her to be in the rep range we would kind of like to see for calves, and we don't mind taking the reps up higher on calves. And again, as long as we're getting that really deep stretch there, which you guys can see that she's getting, we're pretty good on that. So then we do that at the end of our tricep, and then we repeat the circuit. So we end up doing like 3 sets of that tricep. Our next tricep, we do Bulgarian split squats. In this case, we're doing them with a dumbbell, so I guess it's not the true Bulgarian. Bulgarian would be with a barbell. So we'll call it a dumbbell split squat. All right, same thing. These are fantastic as a quad accessory. All right, quad glute exercise. This is really, really good. And particularly like if we're going to do a lot of volume, because some lifters can't handle high volumes of squatting like others can. Some lifters can squat set after set after set. Not everybody can. Right now, because she's wanting to do a lot of volume, I don't want to risk burning her out. And it's not like we haven't done, 10 sets of squats before in a session for her. We absolutely have many times. But again, I'm wanting to keep just the volumes and the reps real high. So for our tricep on that, we do those split squats. Then we do band pull-throughs. I wish that we had a reverse hyper. She will have one when she moves again coming up. So this current gym, we don't have the reverse hyper anymore. So we use in place of it for a similar muscle growth, not saying it replaces the effect. We do the band pull-throughs. And I like these because they really help for her deadlift anyways. They're a great glute exercise. They're a good hamstring exercise. But that follow through that we get on that is really good for the lockout on a deadlift. And for her, we tend to be weak on lockouts. That's where we miss deadlifts. So I do like a movement like that as a supplemental lift to help with that deadlift. And then, of course, we finish that tricep with a seated calf raise. So again, we get a standing and then a seated version so that we're working both the gastrocnemius and the soleus of our calves. So again, if you guys kind of look at what we've done here, pretty much every muscle and every head of every muscle has been worked. We've made sure the long head of the tricep gets finished. I mean, we're doing the extra bicep work, all 3 heads of the delt, both heads of the calf. We are making sure everything is getting pretty close to the most volume that she can handle and recover from on a week-to-week basis. And then here she is. We repeat the same lower day later in the week, but with a deadlift first. So I included the deadlift. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time.